Top 10 states on the brink of financial disaster. Did you know that some U.S. states are drowning in debt so fast that experts are warning of potential bankruptcies? From skyrocketing pensions to collapsing infrastructure, these states are walking a financial tightrope, and taxpayers are footing the bill. What's even scarier? Your state could be next! In this video, we'll uncover the top 10 states teetering on the edge of financial disaster. From shocking mismanagement to policies that might shock you, these states are closer to collapse than you think. Stick around, because number 1 will leave you stunned. Hi friends, welcome to our channel, where we uncover the most fascinating stories about where to live, visit, and explore in America and beyond. From the best places to retire and hidden gems you won't believe exist, to the cities and states facing alarming challenges, we've got it all. Today, we're diving into a list that's as shocking as it is eye-opening. The top 10 states on the brink of financial collapse. If you're curious about what makes a state truly livable or unlivable, stick around. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Let's jump in. America, the land of opportunity, isn't immune to financial chaos. While some states thrive with booming economies and balanced budgets, others are buckling under the weight of debt, corruption, and mismanagement. But how does this happen? Let's break it down. Many states are grappling with underfunded pensions, meaning they've promised more money to retirees than they can actually afford. Others are burdened by crumbling infrastructure, roads, bridges, and water systems desperately in need of repair. Add to that declining tax revenues, shrinking populations, or reckless spending, and you've got a recipe for disaster. But which states are the most at risk? Let's count down the top 10 states that are hurtling toward financial ruin. Top 10 states on the brink of financial disaster. 10. New Jersey. New Jersey is often recognized for its high property taxes, but the state's financial problems run much deeper. Decades of underfunding its pension system have created a crisis, with over $100 billion in unfunded liabilities looming over the state. While leaders have tried to address this by increasing taxes on income, property, and businesses, the strategy is backfiring. Many residents and companies are fleeing to tax-friendly states, draining the state's revenue further. Infrastructure is another ticking time bomb. Roads, bridges, and public transit systems are in desperate need of repair. Add to that a reliance on borrowing to balance the budget, and New Jersey finds itself in a vicious cycle that's becoming harder to escape. 9. Illinois. Illinois' financial woes have been making headlines for years, and for good reason. It holds the dubious honor of having the worst credit rating among all U.S. states, thanks to decades of overspending, corruption, and mismanagement. The state is drowning in more than $140 billion in pension liabilities, with no clear plan to address the shortfall. Its backlog of unpaid bills totals billions, leaving schools, healthcare providers, and social services struggling to stay afloat. Chicago, the state's economic hub, isn't helping matters with its own mounting debt and fiscal mismanagement. As businesses and residents leave in search of stability, Illinois is losing the tax base it desperately needs to fund its basic services. 8. Kentucky. Kentucky faces a unique set of challenges that make its financial future bleak. The state's pension system is severely underfunded, with obligations far exceeding the resources set aside to meet them. This issue has been exacerbated by an aging population, a declining workforce, and limited economic diversification. While manufacturing and agriculture are mainstays of the state's economy, they haven't been enough to counter rising healthcare costs and stagnant revenue growth. Kentucky's attempts to cut spending have led to reduced funding for education and public services, creating long-term consequences that will only worsen the state's financial instability. 7. Mississippi. Mississippi has long struggled with poverty and underdevelopment, and these issues are at the heart of its financial troubles. With one of the lowest per capita incomes in the nation, the state's tax revenues are insufficient to support its growing needs in healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Federal aid has helped keep the state afloat, but it's far from a sustainable solution. Chronic underfunding of schools and public services has created a cycle of economic stagnation that Mississippi can't seem to break. The state's limited industrial base and reliance on agriculture make it highly vulnerable to economic shocks, leaving its financial future in a precarious position. 6. California. California may be the world's fifth largest economy, but beneath the surface, the Golden State faces some serious fiscal challenges. The housing crisis is driving out middle-class residents, and businesses are following suit, citing the state's high taxes and stringent regulations. California also has significant unfunded pension liabilities and mounting public debts that are growing faster than its revenue streams. Meanwhile, the state spends billions annually on social programs, which, while necessary for its large, low-income population, strain the budget further. Infrastructure is another costly concern, as aging systems require billions in repairs. Despite its tech and entertainment industries, California is losing its grip as a financial powerhouse. 5. Louisiana. Louisiana's financial troubles stem from a perfect storm of natural disasters, a struggling oil industry, and political corruption. The state is still recovering from the devastation of hurricanes like Katrina and Ida, which left its infrastructure in shambles. Oil revenue, once a cornerstone of Louisiana's economy, has been declining for years, creating massive revenue shortfalls. Meanwhile, corruption and mismanagement have plagued the state's government, leading to wasteful spending and ineffective policies. With a population struggling with high poverty rates and limited economic opportunities, Louisiana is finding it increasingly difficult to meet its financial obligations and invest in its future. 4. Connecticut. Connecticut is often perceived as a wealthy state due to its affluent suburbs and high per capita income, but this masks a growing financial crisis. Years of fiscal mismanagement have left the state with one of the highest levels of debt per capita in the country. Unfunded pension liabilities and healthcare costs for retired state workers are major contributors to the problem, eating up a significant portion of the state's budget. Compounding these issues is Connecticut's slow economic growth as businesses and residents leave for more tax-friendly states. The state's reliance on raising taxes to fill budget gaps is only accelerating the exodus, further eroding its financial stability. 3. Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's financial woes are deeply rooted in its aging population and skyrocketing public pension costs. The state has struggled to adapt to changing economic conditions, with stagnant revenue growth failing to keep pace with rising expenses. Its pension system is underfunded by tens of billions of dollars, and the burden of paying for these obligations has fallen on taxpayers. Meanwhile, Pennsylvania's infrastructure is in dire need of investment, but the funds simply aren't there. The state has resorted to borrowing to cover basic expenses, a dangerous strategy that threatens to saddle future generations with even more debt. 2. West Virginia. West Virginia is in a financial freefall as it grapples with the decline of its coal industry, which once served as the backbone of its economy. The loss of coal jobs has led to a shrinking tax base, making it increasingly difficult for the state to fund essential services like education and health care. Compounding this is the state's aging population, which requires more resources but contributes less in taxes. West Virginia's infrastructure, from roads to water systems, is in dire need of repair, but there simply isn't enough money to address these issues. Without significant economic diversification, the state's financial future looks grim. 1. New York. New York may be home to Wall Street and some of the wealthiest individuals in the country, but its fiscal health is far from secure. The state's budget is weighed down by unfunded mandates, including Medicaid costs that are among the highest in the nation. New York City, the state's economic engine, carries a staggering amount of debt, and its reliance on a shrinking tax base of high earners leaves it vulnerable to economic downturns. Housing affordability, skyrocketing taxes, and the exodus of residents to lower-cost states have further exacerbated the problem. Despite its economic power, New York is at risk of financial collapse if these issues aren't addressed. So there you have it, the top 10 states on the brink of financial disaster. What's the takeaway? Mismanagement and bad policies can have devastating effects, not just on governments but on the people who live there. Is your state on this list? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more hard-hitting content. Together, we can stay informed and hold decision-makers accountable. Until next time, take care and stay vigilant.